NFC North predictions. Welcome back to Balling from the Sidelines. Let me just jump right into it. It's going to surprise a lot of people. I got the Green Bay Packers winning the division. I'm that big on Jordan Love. I think he's got ridiculous arm talent. I like his accuracy. Reading the scouting reports in the offseason, as far as how he did in training camp, they said he wowed his coaches. Aaron Rodgers had a bunch of praise and support saying this guy has all the talent in the world. And Aaron Rodgers is known as a guy that is very for he's known for being very friendly to his backup quarterbacks, but he was. So I definitely think there's something there to crystallize. And I think he's going to take advantage of the situation where everybody's doubting him. People don't really have any expectations at all for the Packers. It's pretty reminds me a whole lot of when Alex Smith got traded to the Redskins. Patrick Mahomes was kind of there's a lot of overlap between Patrick Mahomes and Jordan Love when it comes to their crazy stupid arm strength, like just ridiculous lethal arm strength to the point where it's like a cannon arm, able to, move around the pocket, buy time with their legs, accuracy. I've seen Jordan Love make a lot of throws with absolute monster precision. And yeah, I just see a whole lot of positives and things to be cheerful of when you look at Jordan Love. If I'm a Packers fan, I'm not a Packers fan, but as a fan in general, I'm really excited to see what Jordan Love does this year. Combine that with Aaron Jones, top seven running back in the NFL. He can get his yards. AP Dillon, I mean, oh, sorry, AJ Dillon. He's a good goal line running back. Change the pace, more power guy. He gets his TDs. That's gonna help Jordan Love a lot because red zone efficiency is usually one of the biggest areas that a young quarterback struggles in. But if you have a running back who has a nose for the end zone, like AJ Dillon does, that's only gonna help. You look at the receiving core, Christian Watson, he had a really good year last year, above 1,000 yards. People are concerned about his route running. But I mean, he got 1,000 yards last year. I don't think his route running can get any worse. He doesn't have a Hall of Fame quarterback anymore throwing the football, but I still like Jordan Love a lot. The offensive line it's solid. The left side of the offensive line is really good. Right side, not so much, but it's definitely not a detriment. It's a serviceable offensive line. You look at their defense was top 12-ish last year. Um, you got Jerry Alexander as your corner, top five cornerback. You combine that with Rasul Douglas, another quality cornerback. And this their front seven. I mean, I'm really big on Devondre Campbell. I think he made some plays that jumped out um on the screen when you watched him play last year. And who else they got? Let's look at their depth chart real quick. They got Preston Smith and Kenny Clark. Preston Smith, he's a good Preston Smith can get those is a good good at getting pressure on third down, especially. Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark is Kenny Clark. He's a great defensive end. So yeah, I got the Packers winning the division. It's gonna be a tough divisional race though, because there are a lot of all the three other teams in the division have their strengths that are formidable in their own ways and can win you a football game. Number two in the division, I got the Minnesota Vikings. Oh yeah, I got the Packers getting the third seed, by the way. So, Eagles getting the first seed, 49ers getting the second seed, and I got the Packers getting the third seed. And that just you'll find out later how bad the NFC South is. They're so bad that the Packers with a decent team are gonna get the third seed. In most years, they should be the clear cut four seed, if not a wild card spot. But Vikings getting I think the Vikings gonna get the last wild card spot, number three wild card. And Kirk had a good year last year. You combine that with Justin Jefferson and KJ Osborne. They don't have Thielen no more, but Thielen was kind of is on the decline. He underwhelmed last year, especially. Um, and they lost Dalvin Cook, which is a huge loss. If they still had Dalvin Cook, I probably well, I would have been it would have been tougher for me to pick Green Bay as a division winner. But they don't have Dalvin Cook anymore. But they have the best wide receiver in the NFL in Justin Jefferson, a guy that's going to get over 1,500 yards again, probably 1,600, 1,700 yards, double digit TDs, completely unguardable. If you even with safety help, if you're running cover threes, uh, you're just not gonna get. It's not gonna get the job done. He's too good to the point where man coverage, unless you're Sauce Gardner, you're gonna get you're gonna get beat into the ashes. You can try to run a cover three scheme, but it's just not gonna work. You can have Kevin Byard or Derwin James as your free safety. You can be as good of a magic eraser as you are, but there's no defending Justin Jefferson. If you put him on one-on-one coverage with the best corner in the NFL, like I mentioned before, besides Sauce Gardner, you're gonna get beat every time. You cannot afford to play zero coverage, two men unders. Even with two men under, if you try to take advantage of your cornerback's one-on-one skills and also have safety help deep, he's gonna find a way to pick you apart. Especially if you're gonna run, they love running those pick plays as well too, and getting Justin Jefferson space in the middle of the field to wreak havoc. This guy is just a headache, a whole migraine for opposing defenses, and there's nothing you can do about it. So that Cousins to Justin Jefferson duo is really enough for them to win enough games to get that third wild card spot. Last year, they were really hot last year, and they were like had two losses after the mid season point. They just went crazy. But other side of the football, they got Daniel Hunter still, Harrison Smith. They got let's see who else they got. Jordan Hicks, he had a decent year last year. I thought he made some good plays, but the defense just isn't there. It's not the defense that we saw a few years back, when they were probably number one in the NFL. The year the year the Minneapolis Miracle happened, and the years after that. And Kirk Cousins, he he does a satisfactory job, but he doesn't do an incredible job, especially in those primetime games. Pressure can still be a nuisance to him and cause him to create bad plays, turnovers. And they really have the running game right now without Dalvin Cook, like I mentioned before. It's 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 not gonna be pretty. Alexander Madison. A lot of you guys probably haven't heard of Alexander Madison. And Kirk Cousins, play action is a big asset for him. He's not going to have that anymore. And Dalvin Cook put up like 1,400 yards last year. Dalvin Cook went crazy. He's a great running back. He's going to be the Jets' asset, and the Vikings lost, and that's a big loss right there. Now you look at the Lions. They ended the year off crazy strong, winning like 8 of their last 9 games, something like that. They did really good this a couple of days ago. The kickoff game versus the Chiefs. I really love Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jared Goff. They have really the perfect and Jamari Gibbs. They really have the perfect wide receiving core, a quarterback, even running game to uh complement and execute a good dome offense. Their whole offense is very it's very rhythm based, momentum, spreading the ball downfield, timing, things like that. And those are the type of offenses that do even better in a dome style. But Jared Goff, he's a roller coaster at quarterback. He's gonna have some down games. And you look at their defense. Hutchinson's a good a great defensive player. He's a great pass rusher. And I like the CJ Gardner Johnson addition this offseason coming from Philly. He's bringing over priceless big game experience, having been to the Super Bowl, something this team lacks in. And he was a turnover machine last year. I think pretty sure he led the league in interceptions last season. Good ad. Then you look at Cameron Sutton, had a good year last year. So their cornerback, their secondary, it's gonna be pretty good, especially two of the four guys they got in CJ Gardner Johnson and Sutton. But outside of that, their linebacking corps isn't ideal, and they're 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 in a pretty decent division. You look at 1 through 4, all these teams are capable of beating any team, scoring an upset, giving you an honest run for your money. I just think the Vikings are I just think basically the Vikings' biggest strength is Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson. The Lions' biggest strength is Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown. And everybody's going to take Cousins and Justin Jefferson over Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown any day of the week. And that's what gets me. That's what is the reason why I got the Vikings above the Lions. I think the Vikings defense is slightly better as well too. They have more leadership in that defensive end of the floor, side of the field. With Harrison Smith being still around, Daniel Hunter. So they have guys who've been there, done that, have been to the playoffs with this team, and it's going to help them a lot in that aspect. So I got the Vikings in that third wild card spot. Lions finishing third division. Chicago Bears finishing fourth. Their defense is bad. They have a bad defense. You look at I'm big on Khalil Herbert though. I think that zone read option with Justin Fields is going to be great. It's going to be they're going to get their yards up and everything. I think Khalil Herbert is going to rush for like 1,200, 1,300 yards this year. They're going to have for the first time in Justin Fields' career, he's going to have a really good athletic running back that can really do absolutely everything. David Montgomery before wasn't uh wasn't a great bell cow type of running back. He was more of a pass catcher. But now you combine that with Khalil Herbert and Justin Fields. I think that rush attack is going to be hell for opposing defenses. There's going to be no way to beat it because Justin Fields can kill you with his legs if he decides to pull it for himself. He had like 1,200 rushing yards last year. He's fast as dynamite. And I mean, as explosive as dynamite and as fast as a speeding train. And Khalil Herbert last year, he was like in the amount of carries he got, he had very efficient numbers. Like I want to see how like 5 yards a carry. He had some good games, so flashes of what he's capable of doing. Then you combine that with their number 2 running back in form, who's a really good pass catcher. And then Darnell Mooney, Chase Claypool, decent receiving options. If when the defense bites on their RPOs or play action, they can definitely make some plays. They're going to be competitive, but they're going to finish dead last in the division. Probably like 7-10, I'm guessing. Their defense is just bad. If their defense is better, they'd be able to get further. But TJ Edwards is a good addition, not gonna lie. Tremaine Edmonds. So their linebacking corps is solid. But their secondary is just not there. And in a division where you're playing against such good wide receivers, it's gonna be a problem for them. And Justin Fields, I think, is gonna progress a good amount this year as well, too. I think he's gonna take his passing game to the next level. I'm thinking over 3,200 yards. they're over 3,200, 3,300 yards, something like that. But yeah, those are my picks to the NFC North.